Students farewell long-serving teacher. Peter Yama to contest for the last time. And NCD Regional candidates rally to oust sitting governor.
This is National EMTV News with Mary Bartolo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Saturday's news. A mother figure to Madang's Malala Secondary School students is retiring after more than 50 years in Papua New Guinea. Former principal, Sister Jane Francis, is leaving the country due to illness. She will leave with 16 kilos of baggage after all these years. Her Port Moresby-based students said goodbye to her today.
Described by many of her students as the Iron Lady, Sister Jane Francis is saying goodbye to Papua New Guinea after more than 50 years. Today, a small group of them living and working in Port Moresby say goodbye to this remarkable woman. It wasn't mentioned today, but Sister Jane Francis is suffering from Alzheimer's disease, an illness that causes memory loss.
We came out the following year in flying colors.
Each student had their own stories, a memory that has arched in their minds.
We are very thankful.
She is the principal of Malala Secondary. She has taught 3 generations of students. Some of them said goodbye to her today at the St. Joseph's Catholic International School.
Like all of you.
Most of them emotional when sharing their stories. The 87-year-old is going back to Chicago to be with her twin brother, Bert. She may not be known by the rest of the country, but to her students she is more than just a teacher. Students brought their children, husbands and wives to say thank you to an old woman who gave all her prime years to teaching in Bogia. Sister Jane Francis has created a legacy that will remain at Malala after she is gone. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
A seminar was held recently in Port Moresby to improve skills of law practitioners. Facilitator Mal Varitimos says PNG lawyers need mentoring to increase the level of persuasion. He said despite the level of educational attainment, lawyers work in thriving circumstances to push for justice.
Nearly 50 law practitioners attended the seminar for a refresher to improve their skills. Varitomos led the discussions with exchange of views between participants. He says there is great hype in PNG lawyers, but proper guidance is needed.
There's always room for improvement, and advocacy is an art and you can learn and practice. So hopefully these tips, which came about from errors that I've made and observed, practitioners can improve. But the level of advocacy in Papua New Guinea is improving.
Varitomos was admitted to the bar in 1988. He moved to PNG in 1997 and has over 20 years of service. Varitomos spoke highly for law practitioners to be persuasive when handling cases.
And to help them improve their level of persuasion, because advocacy is about the art of persuasion. So that's what the tips were directed to.
Varitomos highlighted 20 practical tips as an advocate in the Supreme Court. Among them, honesty at all times.
So I developed from practice and from making errors myself a checklist of about 20 handy hints that might help practitioners.
A similar seminar is planned for September this year. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
A rural school in the Suau local level government of Milne Bay Province is lacking major learning facilities. School headmaster Leonard Puaka says despite given little help by the Alatau district, more support is needed urgently. The school has an enrollment of 172 students.
Located in FIFA Bay of Suau local level government in Alatau district, James Chalmers Memorial High School is in dire need of learning facilities.
We actually told ourselves not to worry about those things because we're trying our best to manage.
Headmaster Leonard Pwaka said the school serves over 10 primary schools. Recently, a team from the Million Bay Day community, an organization striving to assist support the school, paid a visit. The head of the school says enrollment has ceased due to the lack of facilities. There are no science laboratory, no administration block and no proper messing facilities. According to Mr. Pwaka, a teacher's house is now used as a library.
We converted, we broke down the walls and the rooms and we just put our books, we made some shelves, and for the short term we are using that as a library.
In 2013, the Alatau district purchased a vehicle and is helping the school, but more help is needed.
Whatever we don't have, whatever we have, we just do our best in what we are doing. And we believe that God will help us do the rest. So for the teachers, do your best. And for the students, you do your best.
The school has 3 classes of grade 9 and 2 classes of grade 10. Jack Lapave Jr. National MTV News.
It's on again. The Yumi FM PNG Music Awards is just about to get started this evening at the Lamana Gold Club. This year marks 13 years of the event in its efforts to recognize local and regional music artists.
If you're a PNG music fan and a Port Moresby resident, Lamana Gold Club is the place to be tonight. Present for the event are the likes of B Red, Wame Blood, Avisat, Jara Local, Tavintuni and many more. Since its inception in 2005, the Music Awards has played a key role in amplifying works by artists locally and across the region. One of the founders of the event and radio personality, Turner Arifaya, most popularly known on air as Kasti, said a lack of government support and no proper music industry in the country were key factors that prompted the introduction of the Music Awards. Though an annual event, organizers are faced with many challenges, the most prevalent one being the struggle to bring in female participation. Kasti noted a lack of confidence is often the reason that holds back female vocalists and performers from gaining entry to the awards. He said there must be support to encourage up-and-coming musicians in the industry. Kasti is now urging musicians to affiliate with Australia Performing Rights Association or APRA so their work can be recognized. Yumi FM, Now FM and Legend FM are currently the only 3 stations in the country that are registered under APRA, so artists receive incentives every time their songs are played. He also strongly discourages the sharing of music via mobile phone applications such as Bluetooth and WhatsApp. Kasti believes it is about time musicians get their work's worth. Dinero Straiko, National MTV News.
Here with National MTV News, businessman turned politician Peter Yama says this is the last elections he will contest. That story, among others, on the national general elections after these messages. Welcome back to National MTV News. Madang businessman Peter Yama says 2017 is the last time he will be contesting the elections. Yama, a controversial figure at times, has run in every election since 1982. The PLP leader and former works minister in the Chan government said one of his biggest regrets is the manner in which the Sandline issue was handled in 1997.
20 years down the line.
Peter Yama has contested in nearly every election since 1982 and for nearly all the seats in Madang province. As polling approaches, he says this will be the last time he runs for office.
Long has long tintin lo mi snap long this time in fact this time last time lo mi. Meeting lo mi snap long governor lo Madang. All program lo mi all snap finish there. Only test him governor. Me no yet. I got say Peter Bada. I will start with Tom Pice. I run against him. Me got number 2 and winning me before long 1982 or 6 I think, yeah. And then beyond the display me snap against him Peter Bada, say Peter Bada. Now Peter Bada he winning me again, so me run number 2 line. Abian lo display me go back to Sumkar.
Yama is former MP for Sumkar, a seat he won in a by-election. He was the last member for Usino Bundi before losing the seat to Anton Yagama. The People's Labour Party leader is also a controversial figure who has over the years built a reputation from his sometimes difficult legal feats against arms of government and the private sector. He's defended against leadership tribunal allegations. In 2009, Yama took the Motor Vehicle Insurance Trust to court and was awarded 6 million kina for breach of contract. That triggered another legal episode against Bank South Pacific. In 2014, he contested the Madang election and lost, accusing the Electoral Commission of fraudulent conduct. He took the matter to court again.
So me win him 2+ seat, me win him Madang seat, meeting also me win. Court yet law him decision. Me wait him judge law him decision whether the court belong a judge me charge him returning officer long contempt because long a decision and mock him and me talk also wrong because electronic count and me number me clear also me win. Manually count them show him also and next and Dubai and win. So something belong court to decide whether this decision belong electoral officer me right or wrong. Me charge him long contempt because I'm not comply with the order of the court.
Along with the controversies and his relatively long political history, Peter Yama says one of his regrets in politics is the manner in which the Chennai Veta government handled the Sandline crisis, a crisis that resulted in the PPP coalition members losing their seats in the 97 elections.
The mobile advice me give me don't know some Sandline. I issue a musky. Me ring along Australia, along Brisbane, and me talk I'm like Pinisim, I'm like Sajim, Singarok, and me don't know. Me ring him in Brisbane and me don't know. I had a dream, I told him. Prime Minister, I had a dream. My advice to you is say no.
For now, Peter Yama says he will try for the Madang governor's seat and wait for the results. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Madang.
National Alliance Party candidate Dominic Ita is up against sitting MP and People's National Congress Party candidate Jimmy Miring-Toro. Ita is among 20 other candidates who nominated for the Central Bougainville Open seat on Wednesday in Arawa. Fabian Hakalitz with this report.
Another candidate nominated to contest the Central Bougainville Open seat is former ABG parliamentarian Dominic Ita. His nomination was accepted and declared as a duly candidate by returning officer Dinis Palipal and will contest against the sitting MP and ruling People's National Congress Party, Jimmy Miring-Toro. After nominations, Mr. Ita told MTV News he was confident of his leadership.
Imi got this la hope where Imi must give him strong backend to ABG too so that you sabe ka strong. Because step long and already close him no sample up. You want time me by me work to make sure that Bougainville, autonomous Bougainville come and to Emi move lo Narabla states.
National Alliance Stronghold, who is the president of the island's autonomous Bougainville government, Chief John Momis gave his support and solidarity to the candidates.
We got big Plahama long support him candidate long Yumi, Dominic Ita, long Central Bougainville seat, now 2 long regional seat, Patrick Nisira. I'm asking people long Central. Long support him to play candidate Blong Yumi.
In Arawa, Fabian Hakalitz, National MTV News.
NCD Metropolitan Chief Superintendent Ben Turi says police will beef up presence in the Mosby Northeast electorate for this year's election. Speaking at the draw for Mosby Northeast candidates yesterday, Turi said it is a problem electorate in the nation's capital because of a number of incidents in the 2012 elections. 51 candidates have nominated to challenge sitting MP Labi Amayo.
Branded as a troubled electorate by the NCD Metropolitan Chief Superintendent from the previous election, Mosby Northeast candidates and supporters have been urged to follow the laws during this election period. The NCD MedSup laid out some laws to be followed by candidates during this time. He said candidates must only conduct awareness and rallies in their electorates. This means they can campaign at any location only in their electorate and should not be stopped by other candidates and supporters from campaigning in their area. The campaign period is a total of 8 weeks required by law, beginning on April 20 up to June 23.
We ask you, especially campaign after hours being odd hours, after jam. Okay. After 6 o'clock, driving around the Laudela and screaming at the suburbs where people must be dressed after work. Always will confiscate your Laudela and the vehicle. We will warn you and you have to start up and go. If you disobey a police officer or any police officer, your car and the Laudela will be grounded after the 8 weeks and will release it. There will be no more truck loads. We allow you this one week already. You can move from place to place, get to the public places. Sit down and you can come up and go.
Tourists said during polling, station commanders will be taking control of all polling stations in the Mosby Northeast electorate.
This time we are keeping a bell power. We will not allow anyone trying to cheat. Police will be out in numbers to make sure Northeast is safe this time and no more leftover or dischargeable or boxes. Everything will be counted once and for all. Okay, so scrutineers, election management staff, also normative staff, all the scrutineers will go for training. The polling time, people are asking for scrutineers to carry forward, to capture anything.
Turi, who stood in for the Mosby Northeast returning officer, announced 51 candidates will be contesting for this seat. This seat is currently held by sitting MP Labi Amayu. Having more than 50 candidates for this year's election, the MedSup also gave credit to candidates and their supporters for having a trouble-free nomination week. Marilyn Diaukatam, National MTV News.
Intending candidates who will be contesting the National Capital District Regional seat have pledged to oust sitting MP Powers Pakop in the upcoming election. Speaking to MTV News yesterday in Port Moresby, they claim there are a number of issues that need to be addressed to benefit people in the city. Some of the issues include foreign development, settlement upgrading, and health and education services.
37 candidates will be contesting against sitting MP Powers Pakop in this year's national election. In a media conference yesterday in Port Moresby, rivals Michael Kandiu, Jamie Maxton Graham, James Melegepa and Jamuka Stone expressed sentiments about issues affecting the welfare of people living in the city.
Some of the major concerns, the major issues that we face when people are not developed in our country, a basic service like health services. Look at our 3 rundown health clinic suburbs that we need to upgrade those. Those are very important things. The schools need to be upgraded. Those are very services that our people want. We can have an expensive road, but how many Papua New Guineans have the vehicle to drive on those very expensive roads that we have?
Kandiu claimed that there are overwhelming hardships of settlement life and poor living conditions for people. These issues include forceful evictions, state-sanctioned disruption of informal sector, lack of business opportunities, and illegal land grabbing, among others. Candidate Jamie Maxton Graham said to address these issues there has to be a transparent, fair and neutral election process.
This is the thing we need to be vigilant. 2,038 candidates who have nominated. Please, we need to monitor the counting process. And I appeal to the Electoral Commissioner to bring international observers, perhaps the Australian Electoral Commission officials need to be in its counting facility.
They also criticized that the physical infrastructure built in the city will not improve the lives of the people.
And for the next 40 years, if we want to develop this country, we'll have to start focusing on our people, so that our people, instead of giving them proper places to dwell as a part of the development in the city, most times we put them at the front end of the bulldozer and we're pushing them out of the city, and they feel that they're not part of the city's development. They feel that they're not part of what the government is thinking for this country.
I think they should develop the inner suburbs, the settlements. As an engineer, looking at it, a lot of these settlements are unplanned. For example, I just went to Sabama now, and my friend, my coordinator told me that when it rains, it floods all everywhere, under the house, in the house, everywhere. So in fact, NCD has not done anything for the settlements.
Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
The PNG National Party will make it a priority to stabilize the management of the government and generate revenue after the elections. Party leader Keranga Kua, who visited Lae yesterday to endorse his Lae Open candidate, says he is confident National Party will form the next government. 55 candidates, including Sir Nagara Bogan for Lae Open, have been endorsed by PNG National Party. We'll take a break now and be back with more of National MTV News after these messages. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, scientists have recorded spectacular footage of one of New Zealand's most remote and inhospitable islands. They took a rare trip to the volcanic Otis Island.
Curtis Island in the South Pacific is a lot of things, but a palm tree paradise tourist destination it certainly is not.
It's very rugged, it's very remote.
It's very formidable.
There's no water.
It's sort of extreme climates.
There's no trees.
Helicopter access only.
And one big geothermal system right in the middle of the island.
That's what drew a team of scientists for a recent week-long stay. Not to check out the beach, there isn't one, but to study the volcanic environment.
We camped right on the rim of this big crater. It was the only really place that we could, because in the bottom of the crater there's a lot of gas, and we saw a lot of juvenile birds that had been gassed.
Curtis is one of the Kermadec group of islands, the best known of which is Raoul. The group sits halfway between New Zealand and Tonga.
We spent a week in a rather makeshift shelter, being battered by the elements, the wind and the rain, and then every day we would abseil down into the crater, do our sampling, and then climb back up.
The researchers worked watched on by these birds, known as boobies.
We collected gas samples and we collected water samples from boiling hot and rapidly venting fumaroles. We collected rocks, we collected gravity data and magnetic data, and we also did microbial sampling.
We also would like to see how these fluids, how they compare along the arc. With different fluids they can go on to produce different types of mineral deposits.
Interesting results expected from a field trip that was no walk in the park.
25 years ago, Los Angeles descended into 5 days of violence. A number of police officers were acquitted of beating an African-American man. Now, Oscar-winning director John Ridley has produced a new documentary on the LA riots.
At the intersection of Florence and Normandy, those harrowing first hours of unrest. Over 5 long days, the LA riots claimed the lives of more than 50 people.
Oh man, it's going to hit the fan.
Now the focus of a new documentary, Let It Fall, by Oscar winner John Ridley.
This was not something that happened because of one incident, because of one issue, and did not affect just one community.
We are determined to take back the streets of Los Angeles.
Ridley shows how a decade of aggressive policing tactics and simmering racial tensions created a power keg of unrest. The notorious beating of Rodney King by 4 white police officers who were then acquitted was the final spark. But as entire neighborhoods descended into lawless violence, there were those who stood up.
What kept you in '92 from being one of those guys throwing bricks? That's not who I am.
People like Donald Jones, an off-duty firefighter living just blocks from the riot's epicenter, who rescued a Chinese immigrant from an angry mob.
But were you mindful that at that point you could have been a victim as well? Very, very much mindful. That the mob could have attacked you? Yeah.
But he still regrets all these years later, he couldn't save everyone.
Terrible. And there's no police presence down here. They will not enter the area.
What was going through your head, through your heart?
That, I wish that I was there.
25 years later, it still gets to you. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I would want someone to do that for me.
A quarter of a century later, those wounds still fresh for Donald and all who endured.
Video of the takeaway worker being held up at gunpoint in the U.S. state of Missouri has gone viral because of his naturally calm response. Sandridge shop worker Takamari initially stared down the robber, ignoring his demands, but when the gunman points the gun at his head, Taka reluctantly empties the till. The gunman was later arrested. Trukai Sports is next. The Rugby League World Cup trophy takes a trip around the city. That story and the latest on the Morabe Golf Open when we return.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Today is the second day for the Oil Search 2017 Rugby League World Cup trophy in the country. Various locations in the nation's capital were visited with the trophy, including Porebata Village and the National Parliament. Oil Search Trophy Ambassador Marcus Bai had nothing but encouragement for school children, especially those who were present, to catch a glimpse of the glorious trophy.
It has been a tremendous and exciting event so far, with the arrival of the prestigious Rugby League World Cup trophy in Port Moresby. That also marks the beginning of the Oil Search Trophy Tour in Papua New Guinea. The ambassador of the 2017 Rugby League World Cup in PNG and former Melbourne Storm's winger, Marcus Bai, was one very pleased person indeed, offering words of encouragement to young people everywhere the trophy went.
I encourage you young boys and girls to be able to work hard at school, play sports, but play sports honestly. Play the game fair and square, respectfully, respect your opponents. You respect the rules and the regulations of the game. Now, if you do that, it's easy for you to be selected and to be one of the boys sitting up here.
In the last 3 days, there were a number of public events where the trophy was shown to the general public, school children, and local villagers. At the NCDC City Hall, the staff took time out from work to take pictures with the trophy and hear brief speeches by the members of the 2017 World Cup Organizing Committee, led by the CEO of the event, Andrew Hill.
For all of you who are here, can I ask one favour? Can I ask that you all become Rugby League World Cup ambassadors for me?
The World Cup trophy had a diplomatic stopover at the National Parliament to show reverence to the country's political leadership and government. Then the trophy was taken to Boreboa Primary School, where young school children gave it a grand rousing welcome, waving miniature PNG and 2017 Rugby League World Cup flags. 2 local Motuan villages were also accorded the rare opportunity to view the World Cup trophy before it leaves PNG on Sunday. Porebata villagers put on a traditional fanfare to welcome the 2017 World Cup official delegation and members of the Oil Search Trophy Tour. And this morning, the trophy went on a display at the Vision City shopping mall to give the general public photo opportunities with the trophy. Later in the day, the World Cup trophy ended its brief tour of Port Moresby at the National Football Stadium in the Oil Search corporate box, where it went on display for VIPs and corporate citizens who had turned up to watch the Intrust Super Cup match between the PNG Hunters and the Northern Pride.
Competition at the 2017 Morabe Open is heating up as the second last day of the tournament sees golfers trying to maintain their spots on the leaderboard. Current leader in Damien Jordan is hoping to match with previous winners in Ediba and Heath Reed.
2009 winner Michael Wright is still in a position to make a claim to the top spot, but also faces stiff competition from Josh Caban and Christopher Wood, both of whom were a shot off yesterday.
Yeah, that puts me to -10, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, good golf and a lot of birdies, a couple of bogeys here and there, but I think you're going to have them no matter where you go. So, yeah, so hopefully I can just keep up the birdies and minimise the bogeys over the weekend.
Caban, who hadn't had the best of days yesterday, finished off in 3rd place on the leaderboard and knows the importance of keeping focused on the green.
Like I said, I think the most important thing here is to chip well. I think you've got a lot of opportunities with a short club in your hand around here with the short par 5s and the short par 4s for us. Whereas if you're chipping it good, you're not really putting a lot of pressure on your putting and you're making a lot of birdies because there's obviously a lot of chances. So I think chipping's really important.
Others in the top 10 include Matt Steger and Martin Dive, as well as 20-year-old Blake Proverbs, who is one of 21 first-timers on the league green.
I'm loving it. It's so different, and it's just like, it's an eye-opener for sure. Even the golf courses and the caddies and stuff, like it's an awesome atmosphere to be in, and yeah, it's definitely an eye-opener for me.
Corey Crawford, Tim Hart and Brett Rankin round out the top 10. All will be hoping to make use of the better, drier conditions from the previous day, knowing that round 3 can only be lost through bad play. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports, Lae.
The football and the Football Federation of Papua New Guinea's National Premier League kicked off today in the Momase region. In Lae, Morobe province, and the first match of the tournament saw Makam in yellow defeat Bulolo by 2-1 at the Lae Football Association field this afternoon. While the quality of the competition is not as high as it could be, organisers are confident that the tournament will get better as it goes on. The day's other match saw Nawaib FC take on Lahi, while over in Madang, it was Lawaidan FC taking on Morobe. To Rugby Union, with the hype on for this weekend's round 4 matches of Capital Rugby Union, President Jacob Anga says 2017 is the year for change for CRU to start making plans and put in place new structures. Anga says this year's aim is to focus more on quality to promote and lift the level of rugby union.
Speaking to MTV Sports today, President of Capital Rugby Union, Jacob Anga, says despite a bad start to last year's competition, 2017 is looking to be bigger and better for clubs participating in Capital Rugby Union events.
We will also be rolling out our plans for this year, and especially our training programs for our referees, our coaches, and our main focus for the CRU board is actually strengthening the club participation, club rugby, and obviously in rugby going forward.
He said they have to make sure that everyone works together in promoting the code and start focusing on the game and to create quality players capable of representing the country.
The 8 clubs that we have, which is the foundation and the strength of rugby. All I can say is you'll see real rugby play here at Bava. CRU is obviously the only constitutionally mandated rugby body, and I hope to see that grow in strength.
Another area of work for Capital Rugby Union will be to start promoting junior development programs in communities and schools in Port Moresby.
We might have to start this year 4 or 5 schools participating, mainly like a school carnival sort of thing, so that we see the number of interest, and we see, because obviously the government, NCDC has actually put out an education curriculum where contact sports is not actually advocated in schools.
He says later in the year a club championship will be organised for top teams to participate in the Hiri Cup competition, saying the plan is to start at union level before preparations can be made for international matches. He added while it is clear that there are 2 rugby union bodies, his focus for the Code of Rugby Union will go towards the betterment of the game and making sure that there is equal playing opportunity given to grassroots who love the sport and are in control of the game. Meanwhile, CRU Round 4 competition this weekend will see a total of 8 participating teams for both men's and women's, with the finals expected in August. Capital Rugby Union annual general meeting is due to take place at 8 p.m. tonight in Port Moresby. Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
The inmates at Bomana Prison Compound in Port Moresby ended the Easter-long competition of touch footy and soccer on a high. It was a fun-filled afternoon for teams who made the finals. Shane Saroya with this report.
Sports matches have become the most favorite pastime of this generation, and here in this highly secured prison compound, it is no different. Putting on their best team colors and running out onto the field at the sound of the whistle saw the third-placed matches kick off the day's program. In touch rugby, it was the battle of the 2 cell blocks, B1 and B3, which saw B1 taking out the 3rd spot with a golden point victory. And as the sun began to descend over the hilltops, the anticipated grand final is set to commence with the opening speech by Chief Superintendent and Acting Commanding Officer Vincent Kundi.
Thank you long all the man who participate. All MSU staff, remands, now big line inside. Said staff, lots of sports, now staff team, one team. Those who really coordinated those teams, suppose you staff inside. Now you inmate, you coordinate him. Now organize him, bring your spirit, blood team, come. Now you will start inside the competition. We must talk. Thank you long. Effort by you to make it possible that something continues the same.
The official kickoff then followed. And it was on. Inmates from Maximum Security Unit, MSU, taking on the Juvenile Division in soccer, and in Touch Rugby C Division played Cell Block 1 in a keenly contested match. At the end of the games, a worthy trophy and complimentary prizes awarded to the winners according to their placing. The competition was sponsored by NCD Governor Powers Pakop.
Despite being surrounded by brick walls and steel fencing, the prisoners demonstrated the freedom of expression through these games. And that goes to show that sports knows no boundaries. Shane Saroya, National, EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues with the NRL, Rugby Union and cricket after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To the NRL now, the Brisbane Broncos came away with a hefty 32-18 win over Penrith Panthers in round 9 at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, but paid a heavy price with star centre James Roberts carried off the field 5 minutes from full time.
Call from the bunker denied James.
The Broncos cruised through with 22 points in the first half.
Loss in 9 games.
However, the first try in the second half didn't deter the opposition. Inspired by captain Matt Moylan, Penrith scored 3 tries in a space of 8 minutes to turn a 28-0 bloodbath into a 10-point deficit, with plenty of time still left on the clock.
Penrith's woes with a 32-18 win.
The adventurous play was ineffective for the first 65 minutes for the Panthers. That continued until the final moments, but with every risky pass was the potential for disaster, and the home side was able to close out their 6th win of the season. The more immediate concern for Brisbane may, however, be the injury to Roberts, who was unable to finish the game. Shane Saroya, National, EMTV Sports.
To Rugby Union, they might be second from the bottom in the New Zealand Conference, but the Highlanders quietly put together a 5-game winning streak and will be hard to ignore now after scoring 9 tries against the Storms in Dunedin, where one of the most underrated players took centre stage on an emotional night.
Started with tears, Patrick Osborne reflecting on a long struggle to reach 50 games in 6 years.
An emotional, wonderful moment.
But with 2 Super Rugby titles under his belt, he definitely makes his time on the field count.
Osborne in his 50th says tears.
10 minutes later, he had a double.
Thompson just stood there, got the bounce. Osborne looking for 2, looking easy. What a scenario we saw there.
And returned the favour with an offload of his own.
What an offload from Penny! Oh, Robbie Thompson sails in under the bar. Patrick Osborne is putting on a show.
The 3-test Fijian was into everything, even lending a hand at line-out time. It's the first time this Highlanders back 3 has started together this year, Waisake Naholo wreaking havoc on the opposite flank. Unfortunately, it could be some time before they're back together again. This afternoon, Ben Smith was ruled out of their upcoming tour to South Africa. He played nearly the entire game with an ankle injury. But with this sort of confidence, hopefully that won't be a problem. It's hard to believe the Stormers topped the Africa 1 conference. They toppled the Chiefs in Cape Town, but after last week's 50-point drubbing by the Crusaders, the Stormers can't be confident about taking on the Hurricanes next week.
Physicality is something we'll pride ourselves in, and we definitely didn't bring that today.
Final score 57-14, their biggest ever win over the Stormers. It would be even bigger, but goal kicking seems to be the only thing Osborne can't do.
Two of New Zealand's star cricketers have gone head-to-head in the Indian Premier League overnight. Martin Guptill was making his first start to the tournament but was upstaged by another masterclass from Kane Williamson.
After a rapid-fire century stand from the Sunrisers' Hyderabad openers, Martin Guptill was warning his Kings 11 side what to fear from the next man in, Kane Williamson. That was expensive, as Williamson paced his innings perfectly until the penultimate over when he plundered Indian international Ishant Sharma.
That is massive, that is huge.
Oh, it'll be 4 more. He scored off every ball, and only desperate fielding in the deep denied 24 runs from the over. Mind you, 20 wasn't a bad haul, and he brought up his half-century in the final over. 54 off just 27 balls, as the Sunrisers posted an imposing 207 on the road.
He's a fantastic player, and you know, the way he comes in and just plays so freely and elegantly is great for our team.
So a little bit of pressure on Guptill in his first match since hamstring issues sidelined him 7 weeks ago. Oh, and facing the IPL's leading wicket taker, Bhuvi Kumar. But it was vintage Guptill as he gave the Kings just the start they needed. 23 off 10. But it was too good to last.
Oh, a chance. Who wants it? Straight up, it's on Reeks.
The host chased hard, with Sean Marsh making a match-high 84. But Williamson had the last say as the Sunrisers won by 26 runs.
But gone!
Earlier, Corey Anderson had an absolute shocker for the Delhi Daredevils, dropped twice in the same over by Kuldeep Yadav.
Again, hit back, put down.
He didn't prosper, though. Left stranded by South African Chris Morrison the next over.
Easy run out, yes.
As the lowly Daredevils only managed 160 against the top of the table Kolkata Knight Riders.
High up, lots of fielders converging.
Their run chase was helped by one of the worst fielding howlers of the season. That effectively cost them the match, as Robin Utapa went on to hammer 59, going past Brendan McCallum with the most sixes in IPL 10.
And that ends Trukai Sports. Up next, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Here's a look at the weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Port Moresby, Darukerma and Popaneta, cloudy with some showers. Alotau, fine becoming cloudy, all with a top temperature of 31. To the Momasa region, cloudy with some showers for Lae, Wau and Wewak, partly cloudy in Vanimo, showers and thunderstorms for Madang. To the New Guinea Islands region, showers and thunderstorms in Lorengau, rain and showers for Kavieng, Kokopo and Rumbau, cloudy with some showers for Kimbe, and rain and showers for Buka. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, all these major centers can expect showers with thunderstorms over the next 24 hours.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
It is the Saturday, the 29th of April 2017. From the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.